This video is brought to you by the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. And I'm not talking about sleeveless shirts. Yeah! Today I will be presenting to you helpful tips and rules to abide by when operating a firearm so that you do not hurt yourself or anybody else around you. My credibility in firearm safety is that I have gone through a firearm safety course myself, and I have received a firearm safety certificate. I am a responsible gun owner, and I have been hunting for 6 years without incident. Before we play with firearms, we need to get into the proper apparel. Now that we're in our proper apparel, we can start to go over the steps with properly handling a firearm. First of all, when you have a firearm, you don't always have to deal with it or move it around or hold it or show it off to your friends. It's fine with just leaving it on the table. That's the safest place for it to be if you don't want to hurt anybody. But if you do want to transport the firearm, then you always make sure that the magazine is out of the gun before you pick it up. And when you do, always, the number one rule of handling a firearm is to always know where the barrel is pointing. And then once you've picked it up and you've got the barrel pointing in a safe direction, you can run the action. This is where the action is on this gun. And over here, you can see, since it's not a real gun, it opens part way. But if it were a real gun, it would eject around in the chamber, thus neutralizing the possibility of you accidentally shooting someone. Another great way to not shoot anybody is to always keep the safety on and to never put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to actually send a bullet downrange. Now that I have shown you the proper way to handle a weapon so that it is safe, I will demonstrate and bring you step by step through ways to load the weapon so that it is hot and you can therefore send rounds downrange into your target. And then I will also teach you how to then return it back to a safe manner by taking all of the ammunition out of it. So again, we check, make sure there's no magazine in it. Keep good muzzle control, make sure it's not pointing at anybody. Check to make sure the chamber isn't loaded. And then make sure the safety's on. Keep your finger off of the trigger. And you take your magazine, make sure there's ammo in it. For this gun, you just put it in the magazine well and give the bottom a nice slap. You can give it a little tug to make sure it's in there. And now that it's in there, for a real weapon, you would have to pull the action to get around in the chamber so that it will shoot. And you do your thing at the range, shooting at your target. And then once you're done, again, maintain muzzle control. You probably had your safety off when you were shooting. Click that back on. And then take the magazine out first, lay it down, and then clear the chamber. Because if you clear the chamber with a magazine in, it'll just cycle another round through. And then you can lay your weapon down. And you've completed safe fire test. Now that you know how to properly load your weapon for shooting, let me teach you the basics of a shooting stance. You want to first place your feet shoulder width apart and staggered. You keep your center of gravity over your feet so that you have a nice stable base to shoot from. When you bring the weapon up, you put the butt of the gun just to the side of your pectoral muscle and just to the inside of your shoulder. There's a nice little housing spot for the gun to sit. When you bring your gun up, keep your elbows in as to reduce a silhouette if anybody is shooting at you. And always lean forward into the gun so that the kick of the gun doesn't send you rocking back and you can absorb it easily. This is the basics of the standing shooting position. If you want to shoot from a crouch position, you simply move your right foot back, drop down, and go to a knee. You again lean forward. You can rest your elbow on your knee if you want more support there. Keep your arms in like before, and just aim down range. Now if you want to move to a more stable position, you can move from a crouch position to a prone position, where to do this, you want to place your left hand on the ground, move your left foot back, and slowly lower yourself so that you are supported by your elbows. Keep both legs just kind of comfortable behind you. I like to keep my left leg straight. Some people like to turn it out. Some people like to keep both legs as straight as possible. It's all just personal preference. And then, to get up from the prone position, you again place your left hand on the ground, lift yourself up, bring your left foot forward, and go up into the prone position. If you want to go from, or the crouch position, I'm sorry. And if you want to go from crouch to standing, you simply push up onto your back foot, and you're back up in the standing position. Those are the three basic firing positions for any sort of marksman. Now that I've shown you the proper apparel, how to safely pick up and handle a firearm, how to safely load and unload a firearm, and the basic shooting stances, you have all the resources you need to go out and join a firearm safety class and get your own firearm safety permit. What I've shown you now is nothing compared to a legal firearm safety class to get a legal firearm safety permit so you too can own your own guns for protection for you and your family.